Hello and welcome back to another thrilling installment of Niche Radio, every Wednesday on Fab Radio International. How's everybody doing? We're going to be talking about loads and loads of sci-fi today. We've got the what if section, who would win in a fight, and I'm going to tell you loads about Serenity. So that's all coming up later on. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, and thank you very much for tuning in to Niche Radio with your hosts Owen Duncan and
Connell Taylor.
And today we have lots and lots of news for you. We'll be talking about all the new merchandise and comics coming out. We're going to be talking a little bit about Joss Whedon's creation Serenity, and also we'll be talking lots and lots of bollocks. Isn't that right?
Yeah. They are sponsored by Balls.
Okay. I like the way you said that. It sounded kind of sultry. Balls.
Balls.
You know, today, most of today, there's an actor called Terry Thomas, who we were talking about just before, who's a really old actor, and he was, he passed away, unfortunately, in 1990. But, yeah, so all day I've been talking like him, and he's that guy in some of the early Carry On films, I think, and lots of like old films. He always plays a cad and a bounder, and he has the most spectacular acting voice, and he wears a monocle, and who can't appreciate that? Yeah, so I've been talking like him for most of the day. It's been interesting, and also I've had an interesting song stuck in my head all day, which I haven't listened to for a long time, so I've no idea how it's got there, but it's a song by Martine McCutcheon, first famous on EastEnders.
This is my moment.
Yeah,
that song.
This is my perfect moment with you. Yeah, I've had that in my head all day. Just that bit of it as well, because I don't know the rest.
That song was about Hugh Grant.
Really?
Yeah, when he was Prime Minister, she sang that to him.
Is that Love Actually that they're in it together?
Yes.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm the cheeky cleaner," and he's like, "Oh, awfully sorry. I must stutter a lot and eventually fall in love with you." I'm afraid.
Now bend over.
Oh no, I mean, as much as they're both very, very attractive people, I'm sure I would not want to see them have sex. I'm just putting it out there, going on record as saying, no, this shall not pass. Or stand. I don't know.
I'll tweet Hugh Grant now.
Yeah, okay. Please don't make Owen watch you and Martin McCutcheon have sex. Dear Hugh Grant. We should start an agony aunt column, but just pretend we're Hugh Grant. Dear Hugh Grant. I don't know. So, ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in. If you want to participate in today's show, we'll be raising loads and loads of crazy questions, and you can raise some too. And you can get in touch on our Facebook, which is Niche Nights, and you can get in touch on Twitter, which is @Niche Radio, and you can subscribe to our beautiful YouTube channel, which is also Niche Nights. So, everybody, are you ready? Fasten your seatbelts, because we've got the What's New in Forbidden Planet section coming at you, but not completely the same as Cleopatra. So first up, let's talk merch. There's been a bunch, and it's all come into the shop via delivery, and we'll be selling it soon. But the kind of the coolest bits, I've made a little list of. So Age of Ultron standees. These are the cardboard cutouts, so you can have your very own Hulk or Iron Man or Black Widow or Thor in your bedroom or somewhere else. We've also got Adventure Time standees, which are super cool. And we've had a few little kind of manga and anime related things. We've had some Dragon Ball Z minifigures for $9.99 coming in, a selection of different characters, which are all brilliant. And also we have had Attack on Titan keyrings of kind of chibi style characters, which are very cute. Also, Hot Toys. These, as you all know, are the hyper-realistic, mega-detailed, and proportionately priced action figures for big kids and the wealthier comic fan. But yeah, there's been some Hot Toys coming in for Iron Man from Iron Man 3, including the Star Boost armor, which is gold and very posh, and the Igor armor, which is blue and grey and is massive. It's one of the largest Hot Toys we've had in. And yeah, it's the kind of a hunched over looking one that you see in the films. Also manga, we've had some slim pickings this week, but little highlights of these would be Bloody Cross issue 6, The Angel of Hamburg, which I picked out just because it's got a really good name, and Alice in the Country of Joker, the Nightmare Trilogy issue 2. Also, there's some graphic novels There's one which is my current favourite, Mass Effect Foundation 2 in a big hardcover deluxe one. And as I've said in previous weeks, I have been playing the Mass Effect trilogy recently and cannot stop talking about it. Although I've come to a bit of an impasse with it, and I'll let you know about that later on. But also the Fables Deluxe Editions, the newest one is in, and it's number 10. So anyone collecting those to look darn posh on the shelf, now is your time to strike. Also Thor, Goddess of Thunder, the first arc of Lady Thor. Who we'll be talking about more later on in the show as well, because her identity has now been revealed in the most recent issue released today. Batman Arkham trade paperback, which features the Riddler and is a highlight of the Riddler, his past and exploits. And now for the comics. There's been absolutely tons, so I've just picked out a few that are worth mentioning. Night Nurse, issue 1. Night Nurse is a little mentioned character who is essentially the very secretive nurse who superheroes tend to go to in Hell's Kitchen and in New York in general. And they go to her to get patched up after they've been in fights with, Doc Ock or Thanos. And it's a comic focusing on her exploits, which I thought was very interesting, and I may read it. Which is a pretty cool character, I think. But yeah, we've also had lots and lots of DC Convergence titles, which is their big event at the moment. So the main title, Convergence, number 6 is out. Also a few of the tie-ins. Off the top of my head, there was Green Lantern and Parallax, Catwoman issue 2 of the Convergence ones, and a bunch more. And also Astro City, the newest issue is out. Black Science issue 14, Howard the Duck issue 3, Fables The Wolf Among Us, newest one, Secret Wars 2, which is Marvel's big crossover event at the moment, which has an equal amount of many tie-ins and extra bits. Like, one of the ones that looks really cool is The Last Days of Magneto.
The Last Days of Magneto.
Yeah, it sounds kind of ominous, but Secret Wars, I get the feeling that they're just going to bring in as many fan favourites as they possibly can from all the different Marvel universes, which have been many. And I think they're just going to explode it all, and then something cosmic's going to happen and bring back the ones that sold best.
Was Magneto the mutant who lasted longest in the zombie apocalypse?
He was meant to be the last mutant kicking about, or at least in the first graphic novel that's the case. I'm not sure if any more resurface later on.
Him as a zombie looks absolutely amazing. Brutal.
Yeah, he's just a bit of a badass, really, that Magneto, isn't he?
He really is.
Yeah. Thor issue 8, which I mentioned earlier. This is the issue where they finally let us know who the hell that Lady Thor is hiding behind her helmet. And also Darth Vader issue 5 is now on shelves, and Walking Dead issue 141. So there we go. There you have it, ladies and gents. That is the majority of some of the comics and merch that have been in. But of course, if you want a more detailed browse, there is tons and tons of stuff that I've missed off this list. So please pop in to Fab Cafe. No. Well, pop in to Fab Cafe, sure, it's great, get a pint. But pop in to Forbidden Planet Manchester. And we shall service you.
You should sell beer in Forbidden Planet. Then I would be there more often.
Yeah. I wouldn't get very much work done, though, I don't think. Well, I might sell some beer, but I'd probably drink the beer. I'd sell myself some beer. Do you reckon I'd get a discount on beer if you sold it in the shop? Okay. Alcoholism, here I come. I can my superhero power, being a drunk in a comic shop. Liver boy takes more than a punishment. So I just imagine it like Stressed Eric. Remember that cartoon?
Yeah.
Like the temple pulsing, but instead liver.
That was amazing.
That was a great cartoon. Whatever happened to that? Another one that was on Cartoon Network back in today, which I thoroughly enjoyed, was Two Stupid Dogs. And a lot of people don't remember this. But I was chatting to my mate Kobe the other day, and she remembered it. So I instantly fell in love with her, because she's the only living person I've met who knows of this. And to be honest, I was a little worried that I made it up in my head.
I've got that about a show called The Tomorrow People.
I see, that rings a bell, but I've never seen it. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
But it does ring a bell. Yeah.
Not helped when they brought out a show called The Tomorrow People not so long ago, which isn't the one I meant.
Maybe you'd had like a vision of tomorrow people to come.
It was about like travelling to the near future quite a lot. And this was about, well, when I was a wee lad.
Oh, a wee nipper. At your mum's teat.
Maybe I was in it. Maybe it was
were.
like a futuristic game show where they just take you, show you the future, and then when in the future you're like, I kind of guessed that would happen. Like, yeah, I knew, because I put you there.
Yeah, like crazy deja vu, but like real.
Like Truman Show in the future.
Whoa, you just blew my mind nodes, man. Oh, that is some crazy schnitt right there. Yeah, okay, so we were talking about comics, yeah. I hope you listeners at home like comics. If not, I'm not really sure why you're listening.
It's fair point.
Yeah, because we talk about them a fair bit. But yeah, today I have read Thor number 8, and I know who Thor is. And we'll be telling you about that in spoiler alert later on in the show. But unfortunately, I will be spoiling it for you. But for now, I'm just going to tease you because I'm very, 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 very proud, for no particular reason, that I called it. When they said, oh yeah, there's going to be a Lady Thor, who could it possibly be? Mystery. I was like, yep, it's going to be this person. And as it turned out, my suspicions were correct. So I'll be bragging about that later on in the show.
Well done, Owen.
Hey, but what have we got next for everybody?
Our new and not so much competition time.
Hey, well, okay, just because we've got this lovely jingle here, I think we should call it competition time for right now, and then we can explain what we're going to do with it, because we've got big, big plans for the show. But Connell can tell you all about that after this sexy jingle.
Competition time. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. In a competition.
Don't be alarmed. It's only a laser sword fight. Don't be scared. It's only the Death Star destroying another world. Relax. It's only a movie, and it's all for fun. Director George Lucas and 20th Century Fox present Star Wars. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
So, a joint so.
Yeah, we both said so, and it made it like stereo sound.
Let's
I
do
hope
it
you guys
again.
got posh radios.
So.
Make it so.
Make it so.
Naked so?
Naked Sew this week is going to be about how to make a jumper whilst naked. Well, you sew it.
Haha.
Next week's about
sounds,
seeds.
That sounds inaccurate, to be honest. I've never tried to sew a jumper.
Yeah, maybe knitting. Maybe knitting's the way.
Yeah, it's all about the knits, mate.
So talking about knits, competition time is changing, as is all of niche radio.
That's exciting times.
So we're getting a bit more of a listenership, which is very nice. Thank you very much. As is the station, massively so.
Hey,
We worked out today is our 47th show, which means
a fine number.
we'll be doing 47 weeks of this, which means in 5 weeks' time, that's our anniversary.
What are you getting me?
Absolutely nothing.
What is it good for?
So we're changing up the show a bit. We're going to keep all the main bits. We've got What's New in Forbidden Planet staying on the roster. We're turning competition time because we're not really running too many competitions at the moment. So we're changing it into what we really want to do is the niche review. In fact, I was in Travelling Man today, went in and spoke to them. They've put up our poster and they're happy to encourage people to get in touch with us if they do independent art, as do the guys who do Bookworm on this show, on this station.
Brilliant.
They're advertising us. Our idea is we're going to start advertising independent comics, independent artists, or really independent anything which relates to the sci-fi community we are proudly a part of. So, if you write a comic, if you've got a mate who writes a comic, if you have anything to do with anything like this, which is independent, for example, we've got a guy who has made an app to read comics on your phone in a new and bling way. So we've got him coming on. If you know of anyone, please get in touch, and we'll advertise you throughout the week. We'll put you on our YouTube channel. We'll speak about you on air. We'll pretty much just discuss and advertise your comic or whatever it is you would like to enter.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there'd be a potentiality for you to come on the show if you wanted to talk about your project or your art or your process or whatever. Yeah, there'll be interview spots coming up soon. So if anybody does want to be interviewed on the show, you can talk about your favourite comic or how much you're into Star Wars or Doctor Who, or you could talk about your own projects that you're doing that are creative and geeky, and we can just have a bit of a chat, which I think would be very nice.
I think it'd be great, and also it's pretty difficult to crack into certain worlds, especially if you want to get paid for it, which if you can get paid for your art, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So we will happily advertise, throw as much out there as we can to whatever our listenership is. All free. I think it'll be good.
Because we is nice.
Because we is nice. Also, talking about changes to the show, we're going to be changing our geek scene part of the show. We are. We're going to turn it into. We were thinking we want like a long running thing, kind of a competition, but about sci-fi as opposed to 4 prizes. So we were thinking, who is the best superhero of all time? Who is the UK's favourite superhero, most popular?
It's a big question.
So we're going to be putting out polls on Facebook and Twitter and all of that over the next couple of weeks until we hit our anniversary show. And then after that, we'll be discussing one each week, why they're better than ones previously mentioned, why, which categories they'll fall into, kind of like a Top Trumps radio segment.
Yeah. And we can incorporate that as well into the who would in a fight. Maybe, the person who is, before we finish the thing, the person who's ranking top, we could just introduce a new superhero each time and then see if they beat our top spot.
I like it.
Excellent stuff. So it's all change, and all change for the better. So if anyone's got any suggestions as well, then please get in touch on Facebook Niche Nights, Twitter @Niche Radio, or on our YouTube channel, which you would be doing us a huge favour if you subscribe to, because we put all our shows up there, so you can listen again to all of them, and we like that.
We do. It's very nice.
It's most nice. So, Jurassic Park, eh?
Niche Nights, the home of Geek Night. Choose your adventure. Tokyo Chipped, Dinosaurs and Capes, and 90s Night. May the future be rad.
Hello, this is Ian McElhinney here, Barristan Selmy for Game of Thrones. Tune into Niche Radio for everything sci-fi, comics, cult television, and gaming. Welcome to the Age of Rat.
And thank you so much again to Ian McElhinney, who recorded that advert for our show. He is, of course, the legend who plays Barristan the Bold, Barristan Selmy, in Game of Thrones, of course. And and it's been great so far. So we're not gonna do any spoilers for Game of Thrones because we feel it's too important. It's just such an epic show that it shouldn't be spoiled for anybody.
I think we would get complaints.
I think we probably would, yeah, because
we'd have to leave Twitter because of death threats.
We probably have to do with Joss Whedon. Yeah, apparently you didn't leave it because of death threats. So I've read into this a lot, but that's a story for another day. Now, let's put on another jingle.
3 legendary Nights of Niche bring to you events full of fun, gaming, and competitions at Niche Nights.
Nostril. We just decided that nostril's quite a good word to say. So upcoming events. What is happening in Manchester and beyond in the world of geek? Well, we've got an amazing event coming up in June. It is June, isn't it? June the 26th.
After MCM.
Yes, the MCM unofficial after party at Fab Cafe Manchester. And we're teaming up with the amazing Northwest Anime Legion and also the incredible Mike from Tokyo Chipped. It's going to be great. We're going to be DJing loads of awesome stuff. There'll be prizes and fun galore. And last year, it was a free event. So we were absolutely rammed, full of lovely people. We had tons of stuff to give away, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And we had some of the best costumes I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, some people spend a lot of time on these costumes, probably a lot of money as well.
Yeah, I mean, cosplay, it seems like an expensive habit and a time-consuming one, but people need a lot of talent, even to make the most simple of things, or at least I would. I'd certainly need to learn several new skill sets to be able to be a cosplayer.
Yeah, I could never get into. I haven't got the patience.
Yeah, I could be a bad cross-dresser, like one of those lazy ones that just kind of rocks up with a sticker on.
Or a Superwoman outfit.
Supergirl, actually, yeah, that was a lovely outfit. Very breezy around the thighs. So, other events that we have, Tokyo Chip's coming up as well, isn't it?
It is.
Which, and what's the date for that one? I think it's June the 11th. However, my memory has failed me somewhat. But if you go on to Facebook and type in Niche Nights or Tokyo Chips, you can find out every last detail on that and all of our upcoming events as well. And sometimes we share interesting geeky news on there as well, because we are geeks and geeky news pleases us.
Geek.
Verily.
Nostril.
Oh, Nostradamus. I've got a bit of a thing for good words, and I've really gutted. I forgot a great word, which sounded Latin, that I found out. It was on Facebook on one of those word porn things that come up, and it was an excellent word that meant specifically the frustration you have while it's taking a long time to get to know somebody. Yeah, that's a specific word right there. I was impressed.
Excellent. Look it up.
Yeah, I'm going to have to, but it's difficult. I mean, how do you search for that on Google? A word that kind of means the frustration of... I suppose it might come up, mightn't it? It seems like a bit of a vague search. But yeah, other events coming up. Well, the MCM one is going to be fantastic, but we've got plans potentially in the pipeline for a September event, potentially to coincide with Freshers Week and much more. But watch this space for that, because so far it's classified. So if I told you, I'd have to kill you, which might be difficult because you could be listening to this in 2 years or all over the world. So I've got my work cut out for me. So I won't tell you.
A really, really high-pitched noise, which makes your mind explode.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, something similar to like the little pen thing in Men in Black.
Yeah. Do you want your mind blown?
There we go. Listen to Niche Radio. We will raise your brain. Yeah, so thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to Niche Radio. We are Owen and Connell, and we're here to rock your socks off with tons of geeky facts coming at you. And if you've just tuned in, you've missed out on all the new merchandise and comics, an update of some of the new geeky events, and a little bit of a chat. So yeah, what have we got in store next up for the stuff?
Next up, I believe it's quizzity
This is my
time.
favourite bit. I like the quiz. We never get to say quiz enough either. So here's a bit of quiz.
Quiz. Quiz. Quiz. Quiz. This is the part of the show where we have a quiz.
Quiz.
So I'm gonna read 5 questions. Owen's gonna make a noise to let you know whether he thinks he's got the answer right in his head, whether he's not sure, whether he has no idea and is completely baffled. Then I'm gonna play the quiz theme again, and I read out the same questions. He's gonna try and answer, and if he gets them all right, he gets honoured with the Final Fantasy VII victory theme, which so far to date he's had once.
Yeah, and we haven't been doing the quiz section for very long, so I think that's pretty good going.
True.
I was fairly pleased with that. I mean, in fact, I was ecstatic. I think we played it twice, didn't we? Because I was just that ecstatic about it.
It was.
Yeah. But it was worth every second. But so, please, quiz me, baby.
Are you ready? Anyone at home, grab a pen. You'll need one for this one. So go grab a pen. You have 1 second. Question 1. Name Thor's hammer.
Oh, Kokundu. That was my guess.
I think you might know that one. Question 1. Name Thor's hammer. Question 2. As he brings out his notes.
Oh.
What is the name of the creature who appears after the credits in Guardians of the Galaxy? At the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, there is a little bit at the end after the credits. Name the creature who appears.
I think I can do that one.
Cool. Question 3 is an anagram. So get a pen, write it down.
Oh, anagrams indeed. Okay.
This one's pretty easy, and it's a superhero. I'll give you that.
Okay.
Right. It's Dan Simper. So it's DANSIMPER. Dan Simper. It's a superhero. You all know him. It's a him.
Oh, double clue. All
Double
right.
clue.
Okay, I'll have a bit of a think on that one.
Question 4.
Dun, 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 dun.
Name the theme tune I'm about to sing.
Yes, I love these ones.
You haven't even chosen which one yet.
Oh, okay.
Come on now. Right. Guess what theme this is? I could carry on, so I will.
Yeah,
Guess that theme tune.
I've got that one down. That's beautiful, and it's got Marty McCutcheon straight out of my head, which is great.
Excellent. That's what I was trying.
Just a win-win right there.
Question 5. The final question. Name the Daleks' home planet.
Oh.
Where were they originally from?
Oh,
It was lost in the Time War when they fought Gallifrey.
yeah, and they got seriously exterminated.
They did get seriously exterminated.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's pretty mean.
Theme tune.
Oh, but I'm still making me think.
Coming up shortly. The answers.
Yeah.
Quiz. Quiz.
Quiz. Quiz.
Quiz answers.
Okay, I reckon I got these.
Okay. Remember, there's some high stakes now, guys. If he gets all 5 questions right, he gets to play the Final Fantasy VII theme tune.
If anyone's watching on webcam, I am quivering with anticipation.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll begin. Question 1. Name Thor's hammer.
Mjolnir. Mjolnir. Mjolnir.
You are correct. We have one outside the studio in a lovely display cabinet.
Yeah. He who possesses this hammer, if he be worthy, shall wield the power of Thor.
Excellent. Well done. 1 point. Question 2. Was
Who was the creature that appears at the end of the credits scene in Guardians of the Galaxy?
It was. What's the answer, Owen?
I think. Wait, we just reversed roles. What's the answer, Connor? I think it's Howard the Duck.
It's Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
2 points for O-Dog.
Oh, it's a close one. This.
Question 3. It's a
Feeling
tough one
positive.
because anagram's tough.
Anagrams are tough.
The anagram was Dan Simper. DANSIMPER. Owen, which superhero, male superhero, do you think this is?
It's Spider-Man.
It is Spider-Man.
Word up.
But up to your mum.
All right, I'll pass that on.
Question 4 was an emotional one. Name the theme song I was singing.
It was beautiful. Do we get another snippet just to refresh everyone's memories?
Yes, it'll be 7 microseconds.
Okay. Yeah, that was my favourite bit. Take it to the bridge. So that was the Angel theme tune, I think.
It was.
Yeah.
Which is both credit to Owen's sci-fi knowledge and my beautiful singing voice.
Yes, it was an absolutely gorgeous rendition.
Thank you. Question 5.
Now this is where it all falls apart.
Is this
for
4
me.
out of 5 now you got?
Yeah, it is.
4 out of 5.
It's all rides on this one, which I'm pretty sure I have done badly on because, as we all know, my Doctor Who knowledge is minimal to none, mostly. I don't know. I could hold my own in a pub quiz, maybe, but not one of these pub quizzes.
Let's find out about radio quiz.
Okay.
Question 5.
All right.
Name the Daleks' home world, their home planet where they came from originally.
Oh, the tension's rising. If I get this wrong, then that's it. No Final Fantasy VII victory theme for me. In fact, nothing but shame and remorse. So I don't know it, but I've had a guess, and I'm pretty sure it's wrong. But my guess is Utopia.
No,
Oh.
that's wrong.
Oh.
Utopia is where the Master went to hide from the Time War reverted, well, not reverted,
Course it
turned
is.
into human form so he didn't get sensed. And then when the Doctor went there, kind of by accident, with Captain Jack on his back, or the back of the TARDIS, got found out and then became Harold. No, I nearly said the wrong Harold then. Harold Saxon.
Not Harold Bishop.
No, not him. The answer was, of course, Scarrow.
Oh, you know what? In the back of my head somewhere, I knew that.
I knew as soon as I said it, you'd know it.
Yeah, I see it on the books and all the merch at work, so it was in there somewhere. But no, that means unfortunately I will not be playing the victory theme. I was so confident, in fact, I had already queued it up just in case I got to play it. But I'm just going to be clicking delete now. Oh, that's all of our shows forever deleted. Whoops. Yeah, so well, that was the quiz. Ladies and gents, please tweet or message us on Facebook or on YouTube if you reckon you've got any of these right. And if you've won, then congratulations. You get an internet high five. Yep, you do.
The noise of it is this.
Yeah, I think it is. Also,
Niche Radio. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Beep. In Quantum Leap, Sam Beckett never actually makes it home. Shut up.
so, spoiler alert. Today we have tons and tons and tons of stuff to spoil for you. So please cover your ears when something comes up that you don't want to get spoiled. We're leaving Game of Thrones alone because we don't want to get killed in our sleep. Although I am up to date with it, and it has been fantastic. And I would like to say that Sir Ian McElhenney's role particularly has been amazing. But yeah, among other things, I would like to spoil for you today Thor issue 8. So this is the new wave of Thor, where Thor is a lady, which was huge in the news, well, at least in geeky comic news, because Thor, to our knowledge, had never really been gender swapped. And yeah, and
Species swapped, but not gender swapped.
yeah, been a lot of other swapped, but yeah, not gender swapped. But of course, in the stories, it's not actually Thor changing into a lady. It is Thor for reasons that turned up in the original Sin story arc. He was suddenly unworthy to wield his hammer. So yeah, he spent a long time trying to pick it back up. Didn't work. So now he's just calls himself the Odin son. And rocks about with Jarlborn, which I think is his old axe from back in the day before he was worthy to wield Mjolnir. And you know, he seems to be being pretty well adjusted now. He's getting on with his Avengery things and everything else. So this new girl has turned up and she picked up the hammer. And at the very first issue, it kind of leaned you towards believing it was Freya, his mum. But I think from just even a cursory glance at the dialogue, it wasn't, because she talks like an Asgardian. It's all like thou hast and all this kind of stuff. Whereas this person, in speech and thought bubbles, spoke and thought like an average everyday person. So my theory was that it might be Jane Foster, who was Natalie Portman in the films, and has a character who was both Donald Blake and Thor's love interest throughout many of the most famous Thor comics, and who hasn't really popped up in the Marvel Universe, as far as I've noticed, for a long time. So I thought, yeah, maybe it's her, and they've just kind of popped her in, and ding ding, 10 points, I was correct. So there's your spoiler, it is Jane Foster. And she's not doing very well with the power of Thor. Well, I mean, she's kicking ass and taking names, sure, but it is taking a toll on her human form.
Why so, and how so?
Well, it was revealed at the very end, in the very last panel, in fact, of Thor issue 8, that it's just she takes off. Well, she turns back into her normal form, and as she's still Thor, she says something like, "I will keep protecting Earth, the Earth I love," or something like this. You know, I'll keep on fighting for Midgard. And then as she morphs back, you just see her kind of looking very decrepit and bald on the floor, saying, "It, even though it's killing me." Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it was quite a brutal one, because without putting too fine a point on it, it looks like she's got cancer. It does. It looks like she's going through cancer treatment. She's very, very thin, pale, weak, and the baldness as well kind of is almost like a homage to that. So yeah, it's a very weird parallel to be drawn there, and very, very kind of hip-heavy end to what has otherwise been a fairly whimsical story arc so far.
Yeah, that's pretty extreme.
Yeah, it was definitely a shocker. Definitely. But yeah, what other stuff can we spoil for you? Well, we've finished watching Gotham, which was great.
Yeah.
And in fact, Carl, tell us about it, because you watched it more recently, so it'd be fresher in your head.
Oh, well, first of all, I want to say that I've spoken many a time on the show about my hatred for Fish Mooney. I'm going to take that back. I like her. And I like her even more so because I hated her at the start, and she's progressed, and you can see why she is the way she is, and she's not become badass, but you've realised the journey she was on until now, sort of thing. So you appreciate it now, whereas before it was boring. It's like, why is she doing that? That's just really lame. Yeah,
you kind of wondered why she was involved, because it wasn't. I mean, maybe that's something I'm missing, but it wasn't a character that I'd ever seen in any Batman anything before now.
No.
It was a strange one, and Catwoman's involvement with her was interesting as well. She's not Catwoman yet, is she? She's Selena Kyle still. Yeah,
I didn't quite get that. Although I suppose she would go through all kinds of circles to become, like, I don't know, Bruce Wayne's parents got murdered. She's got no reason to become a saviour.
Yep,
just she is who she is. So she's going to have to go through some type of trauma. I know nothing about Catwoman, really.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the starts of what's about to happen.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Penguin looks set to rule Gotham forever and ever.
Penguin looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's rare you see like an emo gothy type villain who you think is really cool.
Yeah,
he's wicked.
Yeah, he is brilliant. And he's got the face for it as well. I mean, how much of it is makeup? They deserve a lot of credit too, but that is absolutely amazing.
I noticed when he looks evil for actually evil. He's always looked twisted since the very start, but he looked evil, and you saw, like the old images of the Penguin, and you see his teeth.
Yeah,
they must have done that on purpose. There's one scene when I think he had just killed that guy outside, and his mum's wondering what's going on, and you just see this glimpse of him looking snapped. There's no more it's not about being in charge of Gotham. I am just evil, and you're all gonna do my bidding. Pure evil. His teeth came out, harking back to in the older comics. It looked amazing.
Yeah, and very much to the Tim Burton. I think that owes a lot to the Tim Burton films, because you can see there was a brilliant thing on the internet actually that had a lot of the characters compared to their counterparts in the Tim Burton world, and there's that little lad in the one episode with the Flying Graysons, and it's that little lad who everyone thought was probably going to turn out to be Joker. And I think that's a pretty safe bet, 'cause he does that weird creepy smile at the end, and that weird creepy smile is very similar to Jack Nicholson's Joker's creepy smile. Now, the Danny DeVito Penguin, when compared to the Penguin in Gotham, is very, very similar as well. They've got a very similar look, despite, obviously, the actor in Gotham would have to put on a few more pounds to get to that point. But then also the same with Selena Kyle. She looked kind of similar to that version of Catwoman. They're kind of glamorous, but also a little bit kind of street ratty, street catty, I guess.
I'll have to watch the Tim Burton one again.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've watched them, and they're brilliant. I think they're my favourites.
Let's have a Batman fest.
Okay, right now? Oh well, we're on air. We probably shouldn't be rude.
Yeah. That's true.
Sorry guys, we're not just going to leave you in the lurch.
What did you think to the Riddler? Because
I think he's great.
I liked seeing his natural progression as well, from human who doesn't quite fit in, normal bloke who does his job, being kind of pushed into these. He's always been a bit weird and out of it, but in no way a bad person. And then he killed that guy to defend the lady he loves, Honor. Yeah, and you can see how that destroyed him, but how also he loved the riddle part of it as well. So he's disguising his name, for example, in the note that she noticed.
Yeah, and she noticed, and you could tell that he got off on it basically.
He had that little scene where he had his face shaking, and
yeah, that was really good. I thought I liked that. It gave you a sense of some kind of duality within himself. So he was telling himself to shut up, wasn't he? So there was definitely kind of split personality thing going on there. But the way they visualised it, it's been used similarly in other things that have addressed kind of that kind of mental health aspect. But yeah, it looked great, and it looked sinister as well.
It really did look sinister.
Yeah.
That was in the same episode as the penguin teeth thing. I think both of the little tips of the cap and subtleties of changing the character were amazing.
That Enigma one as well. Just coming back to that quickly, that one scene with the shaking and the many faces. There's in that short scene. There's quite a progression there as well, because he starts off I think he's kind of like banging his head and telling himself to shut up and trying to kind of shake it off. This I suppose madness that's setting in or whatever it is. But then by the end of it, it's not the reflections that are superimposed on the film itself, on the telly, that are doing the laughing. It's him doing the laughing, and the other one's just watching him. And you can see that, you know, from him fighting it, he essentially loses or embraces it.
Yeah, that was the action that has changed him from, well, Enigma to the Riddler.
Yeah, and it's going to be great. I'm so looking forward to next season. And of course, Gotham has been renewed for a third season. Agent Carter has been renewed for another season, which I'm very, very excited about. It's going to be brilliant. And also, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been renewed for another one. And there is a new episode being aired tonight, which is a special 2-hour long episode.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely amazing. The proof will be in the pudding, as they say, but I will be watching that for show. And I might be cooking a steak as well.
Just so excited. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah. I mean, Gotham has been great, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the moment of TV that I'm watching is definitely my second favourite under Game of Thrones, but it's only marginally.
I absolutely love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's probably my favourite show at the moment.
Yeah, and it's been great. And of course, it's Whedon written. But talking of Whedon written, we're going to be moving on a little bit to talk about Serenity, because the incredible Grim Up North chaps and chapesses organised a 10th anniversary screening of Serenity at the Odeon in Manchester's Printworks, and I went to it. I even got a posh gallery seat so I could get nachos and beer, and didn't regret a single second of it.
Did you aim to misbehave?
I did aim to misbehave, and mission accomplished. But it was absolutely brilliant. And there were I haven't watched the film at home for some time, but there were some tiny little scenes that I'm fairly sure I didn't recognise. So I think it was an extended cut, although I didn't know there was one.
I didn't know there was one.
So it could just be my memory being rusty, or it could be the fact of seeing it on a big screen made me notice things that I hadn't noticed before.
Like what? Do you remember?
It was all parts of existing scenes, mostly, that mostly came out at night, that had been lengthened, basically. So there was a little bit of extra dialogue that I didn't remember, or there was like a cheeky shot. There's a bit with Inara that I didn't remember at all. In fact, you'll be able to tell me if you remember this. After they're being attacked, Inara and Mal are being attacked by the baddie, when she sets off that flashbang in the incense, is there a scene straight afterwards where they're kind of running away but kind of escaping around the side of a cliff face?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, see, that was one of the ones that really stuck out for me. I was like, hang on. But there's a few that was like, oh, is that in it? But anyway, congratulations, Grim Up North and Odeon Printworks. Thank you for an amazing, amazing time. And congratulations, Joss Whedon, the entire cast, and Serenity in general, because it is your 10th anniversary and you should be very happy with what excellent work you did.
And how strong a following you still have.
Yeah, you can't stop the signal. You can't stop the signal.
Can't stop the signal.
Yeah, and talking of which, here's a stab.
It's niche nights, party time, excellent. Niche nights on Facebook.
So next up is our next section. Thank you for tuning in once again to Niche Radio, and we're very, very grateful. And please, if you've got any suggestions or just want to say hi, then please get in touch on our Facebook, Niche Nights, Twitter @Niche Radio, or on our new YouTube channel, which we would love it if you could subscribe to. So there we go.
What if Wolverine's bones were made of chocolate?
What if Doctor Who used his powers to evil?
Oh, what if the Simpsons were all topless?
What if Bruce Banner never went to school?
What if... Shut up! Niche Radio tells you what if.
So our what if for this week is a slightly unusual question, because it's not a what if, it's a is-a.
Oh, we need to rename the section, make a whole new jingle.
Is-a of the week. is so our question is, who out there seen Watchmen? All these people in the studio have.
Yep.
Is Dr. Manhattan God? Realistically, could he be called a god? Is he God? Has he got the
Yes.
same powers?
Next question.
Do you think? Because he hasn't created any life.
Well, arguably, he recreated his own life.
True, I'll give you that.
That was pretty big. And he has the power to create life.
That's what's interesting, because he could, but he hasn't.
Yeah. So I mean,
Is that benevolent?
Well, that's his human side is something that he struggles against, isn't it? In the film and the comics, but and something that he loses contact with. At least he feels like that. But yeah, is he a god? Well, that raises lots of questions there.
He has the ability to be omnipresent.
Yeah, and he travels through time. Well, he sees time unlike the rest of us. It's not linear for him. Yeah.
He sees the entire timeline of anyone he's met at every point of meeting them.
Yeah, which is fascinating, really. And I mean, as far as kind of omnipresent, all-powerful beings go, because he is all-powerful. I mean, just look what he did in Vietnam. That's pretty powerful. Just zapping people out of existence.
A lot of people knelt down and surrendered to the USA. A lot of them wanted to surrender to me directly. Like, what?
Yeah.
It was just him.
Yeah, which leans towards the idea, because if he was being idolised, that's pretty godly.
It's true.
Gods get idolised.
If he used his powers in certain ways, he could easily. I mean, hell, Storm is viewed as a god.
Yeah.
In the 80s in Africa, like, they thought she was a god because she controlled the weather.
Yeah. Which, arguably, if she's a god that has power, is a being that has power over their lives, and they call her a god, so who's to say that she's not?
Yeah, it's fair play.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're thinking on that lines, then Dr. Manhattan's definitely a god, because he is easily the most powerful. He's even the most powerful superhero ever. I mean, he's more powerful than Superman by a long shot. I mean, he could literally just undo Superman. He could just uninvent him from existence if they were to have the ultimate battle.
Do you think he would win in a fight over Doctor Who?
Yeah. Well,
because Doctor Who could go back in time and stop all of that from happening.
Yeah,
but he couldn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah, so he couldn't go back in time when he's dead.
True.
But then if you're travelling through time anyway,
then again, he has before.
Yeah, well, that's true. And if you're counting regenerations, then he has come back rather a lot.
But if you kill the Doctor during his regeneration, then he's dead.
Oh.
So
yeah, that could happen.
But he couldn't go back in time and stop the crazy lab accident from happening, because as soon as they've met, Doctor Who would have to never meet him but have heard of him and decide to destroy him, which he would never do.
Yeah. And I think as a rule, Dr. Manhattan probably wouldn't destroy Doctor Who just for the hell of it, but I think he could. I mean, if you think about it, they're both travelling through time. Well, no, Doctor Who's travelling through time. Dr. Manhattan is time to an extent. So I reckon Dr. Manhattan's definitely got the edge on Doctor Who and an army of Daleks.
He probably has. I rarely admit anyone can beat Doctor Who.
Yeah,
we've argued Superman before, and Doctor Who would totally beat Superman.
I'd like to think so, because Superman's a bit of a...
Doctor Who could travel back and embed kryptonite in the centre of the Earth when it's forming, make it a fairly standard mineral in the Earth's crust, and then Superman can go to hell.
Yep, that's true.
Or he could just not have made sure Krypton didn't blow up and he'd never even be here in the first place.
Yep, he could have done a lot. But anyway, I think Dr. Manhattan is as close to a god as anything
as sci-fi has ever come up with.
Yeah, definitely. That was an idea heavily played upon in Alan Moore's original graphic novels, which is incredible. If anyone hasn't read or seen Watchmen, I think the film is at least as good as the graphic novel. It's one of my favourite superhero films, and I do think of Watchmen, the graphic novel, very highly. So that is not shallow praise.
It's
great.
It's curious. I would say the same, and I know a lot of people who would also agree with this. And it's pretty much independent of everything else. There's the whole of Marvel, there's the whole of DC. A lot of them intertwine. There's even going to be a new X-Men universe because it's almost outgrown where it is, so it's just going to be placed in their own world. There's so many like crossovers between everything, and then there's Watchmen, which is just Watchmen, and it's about Watchmen, and then there's Watchmen.
Yeah, it's not.
And it's
part
probably
of,
the best.
Yeah, it's not part of any kind of big grand scheme continuity. I mean, they did do the Before Watchmen prequel comics, which were also great. If you enjoy the original graphic and you want to have a look back, none of it's written by Alan Moore. However, it is written by and drawn by some of the greatest writers and artists that are still working at the moment. And yeah, I'd definitely recommend it.
Perhaps this is why it's so good, because, for example, I really like Battlestar Galactica. My favourite thing about it is the whole thing was written, the epicness of it was written at once, all one big story, and then they put it out to air. So there are things in the last season which make sense from the first season. And first season which makes sense in the last season.
Yeah.
Like, it's all one big, long, epic, majorly epic story. That's why it's amazing. Watchmen was all done at once.
Yeah, so it's nice to have just a contained story that you can just pick up, read, and you don't have to have read, issue 24 of Batgirl and issue 79 of Swamp Thing to be able to get what's going on.
I think we learned this from the writer's strike a few years ago when, for example, Heroes was awesome, and then it died because the writers went on strike and they were still doing it as they were going along, and it made me lose hope a bit in some new series that were coming out. Like, I really enjoy this, but like I don't want to be disheartened. Whereas things all written at the same time, which is slightly concerning about Doctor Who actually as well, because that's obviously being written. It's 50 years old. It couldn't be written all at once. And in my opinion, it's dying a death at the moment because of Stephen Moffat being an absolute vagina. I tried to stop myself from saying that.
There's worse things you could call him. But yeah, I mean, it does seem to be a popular consensus that he's not the greatest of writers for Doctor Who. However, we skipped over our Actor of the Week section, but I'm just going to revive it just for a second, because
Hey Owen, should we talk about a randomly selected Actor of the Week?
alright. Okay, so Niche Knights Coutiers, today's Actor of the Week is Christina Hendricks, because Firefly. The end. What's next?
I wanna take you for a ride.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the title fight, the greatest moment in superhero versus supervillain history. In the red corner, the almighty, the upstanding pillar of all that is good, and in the blue corner, the devious, the Machiavellian, the dastardly loser of all time. Who would win in a fight? You decide. Ready? Fight!
On Bank Holiday Sunday, April the 5th, the legend returns. It's Geek Night 7 from 4 until 2 at Fab Cafe Manchester, Portland Street, featuring loads and loads of fun like Tekken tournaments, geeky quiz, cosplay competitions, lucky dips and tons of prizes from Forbidden Planet Manchester, featuring tons of local talented artists and DJs from Game Face, Niche Radio and Tokyo Chips. Geek Night 7, April the 5th at Fab Cafe Manchester. Choose your adventure.
So that was one of the old adverts for the last Geek Night, which was a absolute hoot.
It was. I think we should show off a lot more of what we've done in the past in the lead up to our anniversary, mostly to rub our own egos.
Yeah, definitely.
If you hadn't listened to the show before, is a lot of what we do.
Yeah, we're pretty good at that. We're a bit full of ourselves, really, aren't we? So, who would win in a fight? Right, between Magneto and Gandalf.
Talking about duality.
Yeah, well, if we're going by films, it's the same dude.
Same dude, bro.
Oh man, that's some crazy stuff.
It's a good question though, because Gandalf the Grey or Gandalf the White?
I reckon it's easy if we just say Gandalf because he's gone through the journey. So
fair enough.
Might as well say Gandalf the White. So he's already turned into Gandalf the White, who's pretty all powerful. But then even when he's Gandalf the Grey, he managed to beat up a Balrog.
Gandalf. That's what they used to call me, wasn't it?
That's it. But then on the other hand, Magneto is in many things he's a bit of a zealot. He
survived a Holocaust.
He did survive a Holocaust, and he's very, very angry that he had to be there in the first place. So he's full of revenge and rage.
In fact, he not only survived it, he went on and avenged everyone he felt he had to avenge because of it.
Yeah, and now he's protecting the mutants from a similar kind of prejudice that the Jews and a lot of other people faced in Nazi Germany, and Nazi world. But yeah, so he's very, very. Oh yeah, and by the way, he can control metal.
Yeah, just as a side note.
Yeah, I think even without his power, which he has been robbed of his powers before, or his powers have been weakened or changed, and he's still pretty kick-ass. I mean, I would not flick a bogey at Magneto.
I wouldn't flick a bogey at anyone, really.
Well, it'd be quite mean, wouldn't it? But I mean, okay, say you dared me, yeah, then I'd think about it, but I wouldn't do it because I reckon he'd be angry about it and therefore kill me.
He would pull all of the iron out of your blood and kill you.
Yeah, which is pretty inconvenient, really. I mean, I'm a fan of the iron in my blood, so he could easily kill mere mortals like you and me. But
yes,
could Magneto pull the iron out of Gandalf's blood? Because this is a very scientific metal control power, isn't it? Versus what's kind of an ethereal, magic-y hippie power.
Okay, first things first. Magneto can be a badass and is not evil, but can be bad sometimes and gets his own way.
Yeah.
Gandalf is good.
Yeah.
So would he have the balls to kill him off?
Well, if he sees him as the same sort, I mean, he killed lots of orcs and he probably killed some people. Because in fact, he did kill some people. Because there's all the kind of the wild Easterlings, I think Tolkien calls them, which are humans, and they, are people like everybody else, just a little bit more inclined to fight for the Dark Lord Sauron. Spoilers! If you haven't read the books or seen the films, then shame on you. But I'm afraid, with a warning of shame, we will have to be wrapping up our amazing show.
So who are we going for? I think I'd love to see this. I just think realistically it's going to be Gandalf, but I would want it so much to be Magneto. I would bet it would be Magneto and just cross my fingers and see if he gets a lucky win, which he is good at lucky wins.
That's true, and he's good from coming back from against great odds. Mind you, so's Gandalf. I'm torn on this. My official verdict is
you've got to pick one. You've got to pick one.
Okay, I'm going to pick Gandalf because he's got magic stuff. So, he'll probably whip some sort of weird spell out of his sleeves or wiggle his staff at him. Okay, so you're saying Magneto?
I am.
Okay, well, I'll go Gandalf then, just to be contrary. The operative syllable there being... so, coming up on next week's show, much of the same, geekery and fun fandangos. Thank you all very much for tuning in. And here is a quick advert for the lovely Fab Cafe and Fab Radio.
This is Fab Radio International.